In the town of Cheolsan, during the reign of King Hyojong, a scholar named Master Bei lived quietly with his two daughters. The elder was called Janghwa, Wild Rose, a gentle, soft-spoken girl. The younger was Hongyeon, Red Lotus, clear-eyed and warm. Their mother had died when they were small, and their father raised them with the careful, slightly helpless love of a man who knows he is doing it alone. When Janghwa reached her early teens, Master Bei remarried. He chose a woman called Lady Heo, composed, presentable, the kind of woman the village approved of. She came with 3 sons from a previous marriage. Master Bei believed, sincerely, that everyone would be better off. His daughters would have a mother. His household would have order. He was wrong on both counts. Lady Hale was not cruel in any dramatic way at first. The cruelty was domestic and invisible. A smaller portion of rice, a shabbier set of clothes, a tone of voice that made the girls feel they were a burden simply by existing. These things are almost impossible to prove and very easy to deny. Janghwa and Hongryeon said nothing to their father. They did not want to trouble him. What Lady Hyo wanted was straightforward. Master Bei's estate should pass to her sons, not to his daughters. That was the whole of it. Everything that followed was in service of that single, cold ambition. When Janghwa came of age, and her father began making inquiries about a suitable marriage, Lady Hyo understood that time was running out. A married Janghwa would have a household of her own, legal standing, a claim on her father's assets. So she did something that, once done, could not be undone. She caught a rat, killed it, and while Janghwa slept, she slipped it beneath the girls' bedding. The next morning, she woke Master Bei with screaming and tears, lifting the blanket with trembling hands. Her voice broke with practiced grief as she told him Janghwa had given birth to an illegitimate child. She had hidden the evidence. The family's honor was destroyed. Master Bei looked at the thing under the blanket. He looked at his daughter, who was weeping and swearing on everything she held sacred, that it was not true. He had known this girl since the moment she was born. He had watched her grow up quiet and kind and careful. And yet, Lady Heo had already whispered to the neighbors before dawn. The village was already talking. His face burned. He wavered. That is the most damning thing that can be said about him. He wavered, and in his wavering, he chose the wrong thing. Lady Heo pressed her advantage, murmuring that Janghwa should be sent away, quietly, at night, before more damage was done. For the family's sake, for Hongyeon's sake, no one needed to know. He agreed. A father failed his daughter in the span of a single conversation, and there was no taking it back. That same night, one of Lady Heo's sons came to Hanghwa's room and told her to get up. He had a horse. He would take her to the relative's house. There was no warmth in his face, no lantern, no explanation. Janghwa felt the wrongness of it like a cold hand on her chest. But her father had permitted this. She followed. No moon that night. The road was narrow and tangled with weeds. Janghwa sat on the horse and let herself pray. For her father, for Hongyeon, for whatever came next. The horse's hooves were very loud in the silence. They stopped at the edge of a pond. Deep, dark, still. Not a relative's house. Not anywhere safe. By the time Janghwa understood what was about to happen, she had no time to speak. No time to scream her innocence into the air. She was dragged from the horse and thrown in. The water closed over her. Cold, absolute, final. And she was gone, falsely accused, unheard, 17 years old. The next morning, Lady Heo told Master Bei that Janghwa's sandals had been found at the water's edge. She must have gone there herself. She must have been so ashamed. Master Bei wept and said nothing, and the lie settled into the household like sediment at the bottom of a pond. Hongyeon knew. She didn't need to be told. She simply knew, the way a younger sister knows, the way you know when the part of the world that made sense to you has been removed. She stopped eating. She stopped speaking, at length. Lady Heo looked at her and saw another loose end. When the summons came, Hongyeon went without struggling. She was frightened, but she followed anyway. She no longer wanted to be in a world where Janghwa was not. She was drowned in the same pond, in the same dark water. The two sisters came to rest together at the bottom, where no one was looking, and no one would look for a long time. Then the magistrates started dying. The first official appointed to Cheolsun was found dead on his first morning. Heart stopped, eyes wide, mouth open in a shape that was not quite a scream, more like the beginning of one, frozen before it could leave his body. The second magistrate lasted slightly longer. They found him collapsed in the hall just before dawn, the same expression on his face. The third did not make it past midnight. Every man who sat alone in that hall after dark heard it eventually. Wet footsteps on dry wood, a door opening without wind. Two girls in white funeral robes entered the room. Their hair was soaked. Their faces were the gray-white of river stones. Water pooled where they stood. They knelt, and they spoke. "Your Honor, please hear us. We have been gravely wronged." The spirits were not trying to kill anyone. They wanted only one thing, for someone to hear their story, from beginning to end, so that the truth could finally exist in the world. But every man who saw them broke before the story could be finished. The fear was simply too large. Their hearts gave out, or their minds did, and morning found them dead, and the sisters drifted back to wherever the dead go to wait. Word traveled fast. "Do not take the Cheolsun posting. Men die there. The hall is haunted." The town went months without governance. Officials in the capital found urgent reasons to be elsewhere. The post sat empty like a gap in a row of teeth. Then a man named Jong Dong-woo asked for it. His colleagues thought he was either very brave or not entirely sane. He told them he was neither. He simply reasoned that a spirit who keeps returning to the same place, night after night, attempting to speak, is not trying to kill anyone. It is trying to be heard. And that seemed to him like something a magistrate ought to be able to manage. On his first night in Cheolsun, Magistrate Jong sent his servants away, lit a single lamp, sat down in the hall, and waited. He brought nothing with him but the willingness to stay in his seat. He waited through the first hour and the second. Around midnight, the lamp flickered. The air changed, colder, damper, carrying the smell of still water and mud. The silence became the kind that has weight to it. The door opened. They came in. His heart slammed against his ribs. His hands gripped the edge of the table so hard his knuckles ached. He was afraid, more afraid than he had ever been in his life. But he did not close his eyes. He breathed. He looked at the two girls kneeling before him, water spreading slowly from beneath their robes across the wooden floor. And he said, "I am listening. Tell me everything." Janghwa spoke first, then Hongyeon. They told him about their mother dying, about Lady Heo arriving, about the years of small cruelties that left no marks. They told him about the rat under the blanket, They told him about the road at night and the pond and the cold. They told him where their bodies were. They did not rush, and Magistrate Zhong did not interrupt. He sat with the fear as though it were simply weather, present, uncomfortable, endurable, and he listened until there was nothing left to tell. When they finished, just as the first gray sun of dawn appeared under the door, they said, "Our bodies are in the pond. Find us, give us a proper burial, expose what Lady Heo did. That is all we ask." Then they were gone. Magistrate Zhong sat alone in the pale, empty hall, shaking from head to foot, very much alive and remembering every word. He moved quickly. Men were sent to the pond by mid-morning. The sisters' bodies were found at the bottom, preserved, as though the water had been keeping them for exactly this purpose. Lady Heo was summoned. She denied everything with the practiced fluency of someone who has rehearsed denial for years. But the bodies were there. The witnesses were found. The story held together. Eventually, her composure cracked and she confessed. Her son confessed too. They were both sentenced to death. Master Bei, when he finally understood the full shape of what had happened inside his own house, did not speak for several days. He had chosen not to believe his daughter when she needed him most, and she had died for it. That knowledge does not leave a person. He held her when they brought her back from the water, and some part of him never let go. The sisters were buried on a hillside in the sun, with proper rites and a stone marker. After that, no one died in the magistrate's hall. No wet footsteps in the night. No door opening on its own. The people of Cheolsun said the sisters had finally found their rest. Every spring, wild roses and red lotuses bloomed beside the graves, not planted by any hand anyone could account for. The villagers took it as confirmation. Wherever the two sisters had gone, they were together, and they were at peace. The story was written down, copied out, eventually printed. People recognized something in it that felt true beyond the facts of the case, that injustice does not simply dissolve when the victim dies, that the wronged dead are patient in a way the living are not, and that the only thing required to help them, the one act that breaks the whole chain loose, is simply to sit still, stay afraid, and listen anyway.